Hey everybody, today I'm going to be giving you guys 10 tips if you're going to be going on a cruise, a Carnival cruise. So let's get started. I want to jump right into it, but first let me let you know um, I've been on 18 cruises, 16 of them have been with Carnival, and I have one more booked in January, also Carnival Vista in January. So with that being said, I know a few tips and tricks about cruises and I want to share them along to you guys. My first tip is make sure you look at the fun times. Every single night, your room steward will bring a little flyer into your room and they'll leave it on your bed when they do the night service. That flyer will have all of the activities for the day listed in the flyer. They will also have the buffet times, all the show times, everything that's going around on the ship. And that is absolutely crucial to have a great time on the cruise. Because if you don't take a look at that, you're going to miss so much. And Carnival has made it pretty easy because you can also download this app called the Carnival Fun Hub app on your phone. And on your phone, you can just connect straight to the Carnival Wi-Fi on the ship. You don't have to pay for it. This is absolutely free to look at the fun times. And you can look at the fun times through the app, so you don't have to carry around the piece of paper. But if you do want to carry around the piece of paper, they also make this little flap tearable, so you can tear the little tab off on the side, and it'll list everything from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. About what's going on around the ship. So you can either carry that little piece of paper around with you. I like to do that. I also have the app, but either way, do have it. And then on the app, you can also mark your favorite things. So then you can mark, let's say you have 3 things that you really want to do, so you don't miss them. So that's absolutely crucial. Make sure you have either the Fun Hub app or look at the fun times every night, every morning, whatever. Just make sure you take a look at it because that's going to be absolutely crucial to making sure that you get all the activities that you really want to do done during this cruise. That leads me to my second thing, are the actual activities and the clubs on the ship. So they will do different things. They always have a sail away party in the beginning. So after you do your muster drill, you will go to well, you don't have to go to the sail away party, but there is a sail away party if you'd like to do that. There's food, of course, on a cruise, dancing and music and all sorts of fun shenanigans. They also have some of my favorite things like the hairy chest competition, which can be really funny, just like the Love and Marriage show is really funny. They have tons of things going on. I love to do bingo. They have trivia, scavenger hunts. They have tons of things to do throughout the day. So make sure you don't miss that type of stuff. And that leads me into clubs. For those of you traveling with children, you can drop them off at the clubs. If they're smaller, you would have to go in and sign them in. If they're older, you can give them permission and they can go and sign themselves in and out. I know when I was younger, I did take advantage of the clubs. Most of the times I would just go, make a few friends, and then we'd decide whatever activities we'd really like to do. Let's say, oh, we really like to do dodgeball, and that's at Tuesday at, 3. So then me and my friends would be like, okay, we'll go do dodgeball, and then after that we'll go get pizza, and then we'll do mini golf on our own, or whatever it is. But at least, they'll have some friends, they'll do their own thing, and then it gives you time for you to do whatever you want to do. Also with the little ones, they'll take good care of you. I know if you want to pay a little bit more, not everyone wants to do this, but it's an option. They have the Night Owls program, where they do kind of a whole sleepover thing. But even if you don't do that, there's plenty of stuff, and they do run to pretty late. I know that they do dinners sometimes, and they have all different types of fun. So even if they don't necessarily go to the club every single day and do every single activity, they can make some friends and have some fun. And by the end of the cruise, they'll have friends from all over the country, which is really cool. Which leads me into my third tip, which is all the water stuff on the ships. Pools, hot tubs, whirlpools, waterworks, all that type of stuff. So this depends on whatever ship you go on. All the ships obviously will have a pool. Not all of them will have waterworks. All of them have at least one water slide. However, most of the Conquest class ships just have the one water slide on Lido deck. But it's not as good as you can get on, let's say, the Dream class ships, or obviously the Vista class ships, or even I like the Fantasy class ships. They have really great waterworks. However, with the pools, I believe they're a little bit lacking for the amount of people on the ship. So if you're one of those people that says, "Oh, I'm going to be in the pool 24/7, 365," may not exactly work out for you. Um, the pools are great; they're saltwater pools, but like I said, they're usually really, really crowded, especially on sea days. So if you want to be a person who wants to utilize the pools and the waterworks and the whirlpools and stuff, I highly recommend doing it on a port day. If you're not too fond of wherever the ship is going to be staying, you can do it on a port day. Or if you want to just say, we'll go out a little bit earlier. Let's say the ship is there from, I don't know, 9 to 6. We'll go from 9 to 1-ish. And then when we come back, we'll have lunch on the ship. And then we'll do waterworks in the pools. So they're not as crowded. Because by the time everyone starts getting back on the ship, by 5, the pools are going to be all crowded once again because you're going to have another sail away party. And it gets pretty crazy, especially on sea days. There's a lot of people that want to use those things. So if you're one of those people that really wants to get to the pool or the waterworks, try and do so on a port day. My next tip is going to be on excursions, actually, for ports. So you have really 2 options here with excursions. You can book through Carnival, and they won't necessarily give you the best price you could get, that's for sure. But they will give you peace of mind. So if that's something you really worry about, missing the ship, you should book through Carnival. It depends on the port. I would recommend booking through Carnival if it's a port that you're not familiar with. It's a new port, or it's someplace where you don't necessarily feel safe. I would book through Carnival. Otherwise, you can really go out into the port and get a much better deal with someone else. Let's say you're just going to the beach. If you just want to go to the beach, I do not recommend booking through Carnival at all. They'll do something for like $30 a person, and they'll take you on a small little island tour, which isn't really much, and then or shopping and beach, and they'll do like small little things together. But it's really not worth it because you can go out and get a taxi for, let's say, $7 a person, which is much better. So excursions are really hit or miss. I've done things like swimming with the dolphins through Carnival, but most of the times we'll just go out by ourselves, find a trustworthy person that we think is trustworthy, and we'll get a much better price. And also, you can always haggle with them if they say, whatever, this is going to be the price. Sometimes it's harder, especially right by the cruise ship. But if you start walking away a little bit, not necessarily, do not just stray anywhere, because that's not ever a good idea. Try and stay in the main area, but once you get outside of the front gates, that's when you start getting other people to come in, and you can get a much better deal on whatever you want to do. Next thing I want to talk about is when you get back on the ship, you really want a good spot, right, when you leave port. And some of us are not going to have balcony cabins. We might have inside cabins. There are tons of secret spots on the ship. So make sure you go out, explore the ship. My favorite spot is on Conquest-class ships. It's on Deck 7, all the way at the front. So Deck 7 is a passenger deck. Almost no one goes on Deck 7 unless you stay on Deck 7. And usually we stay on Deck 7, so this is how I found it. But if you go all the way up to the front, there's going to be this door, and you might not know if you can open it or not. You can absolutely open it, and you can open the next door, and you go out onto this huge view of the front of the ship. And you can stand out there in the front, and it gives you an amazing, 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 amazing view. I highly recommend that. And I know on the Dream class ships, so Dream, Magic, and Breeze, if you go higher up, you'll have the same thing. So Decks 9, I believe you'll have it. Make sure you do not go on a deck, let's say like Deck 8, where it has the bridge, because obviously you can't go all the way to the front of the ship with the bridge. But Deck 7, Deck 6 on Conquest class ships, Deck 9 on the Dream class ships, you can definitely go out there, and it's an amazing view, and one of my absolute favorite spots. Also, another favorite spot of mine on Conquest class ships is when you're more at sea, because the front of the ship can get pretty windy when you're in the middle of the ocean. So at sea, I would rather go to Deck 3, the lobby deck, and on either sides of the lobby bar, you'll have little doors out where you came from when you boarded into the ship. You can actually go out there. They'll have nice lanai chairs. You can sit down under the shade, no boiling sun. You get a beautiful, beautiful view of the ocean. I love going there, especially when we cruise to Aruba. I always see some dolphins and stuff. Sometimes we get a balcony cabin, but a lot of the times I'm stuck in an inside, so I love these secret spots. So deck 3 on Conquest class ships on either side of the bar. Sometimes they close one side off, but it really usually doesn't make a difference because they're almost always empty and there's almost always plenty of seating. So my next thing is, one of the biggest things on cruises is food. So for breakfast, I'm not really fond of Carnival breakfast. My favorite thing for breakfast is going to the Blue Iguana Cantina. I go to the Blue Iguana Cantina, get myself a breakfast burrito or two, and that's usually what I have for breakfast. But for lunch is a whole different story. My absolute favorite thing is on Dream class ships. It's called GG Asian Kitchen. Also on Sunshine, it's called GG Asian Kitchen. And for lunch, it's free. You don't have to pay extra for it. And you go there, you pick out all your veggies, and you tell them what kind of meat you want, and they'll make you a great wok bowl. And it's one of my favorite things. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. They'll just line up and they have no idea what's going on. But it does get really popular once people figure out how it works and how good it is. So that's one of my favorite things. Also, Guy's Burgers are amazing on 2.0 ships. They have plenty of food. There's really, for people who like, traditional breakfast stuff, going back to breakfast, I'm not a person who really likes breakfast food, so I'll stay away from waffles and stuff like that. But if you like traditional breakfast stuff, then Carnival breakfast will be absolutely fine for you, but it's just really not my thing. And for dinner, we always do dinner at the main dining room. Main dining room is always great, especially on formal nights. They'll have lobster. On, I believe, 6 nights or longer now. They've changed the menu if you're doing less than 6 nights, which is okay. I haven't been on a less than 6 night cruise, though, since they've changed it. So I can't attest to how the food is on those. But the food is usually really, really good. Maybe one out of my 16 cruises, I could say that the food was really not up to par. And that was a while ago. So I will say that the food is generally really, really good. And this leads into my 7th tip, which is dining times. So Carnival now does 3 dining times. They used to only do 2. You have early, late seating, and then your time dining. With early seating, you go in at 6:15. Late seating, you go in at 8:15. Your time, you can go anytime between, I believe, 5:30 and 9:30 to go for dinner. So we always do late seating. We like that because when we get back from the port, we still have time to relax, take a shower, and then usually they'll have a comedy show before then. We'll do the comedy show, and then if we want to, I'm not a big fan of the big Broadway production shows that they have, but you can do that after. And yes, it can get pretty late, especially if you have little kids. Maybe it's not the choice for you. Some people like the earlier seating. I'm not one of those people. I much prefer the late seating. But if you're one person that may be sporadic, let's say one day you want to eat early because it was a sea day and you really didn't have much for lunch and you were out and about and, playing mini golf and doing all this other stuff, then you might want to do anytime dining. And then at a port day, you might come in late. So you're going to miss the 6 o'clock dining time or whatever, and you might do a 7 or an 8 o'clock dining. So it's totally up to you. My personal preference is definitely late. Then number 8, the really big thing is drinks. So included with your cruise, you'll have lemonade, water, hot chocolate, teas, iced tea, and then in the mornings they'll have like cranberry juice, apple juice. I like this guava punch juice that they have, but alcohol and sodas are not included. So with sodas, I do recommend for most people the bottomless bubbles package, and this is $7.50 per day per person for adults, or $4.95 per day per person for kids. And that is unlimited sodas, as much as you can drink. You don't have to buy it for every person in your cabin. If one, you can get it for one person, and if you want to keep going back for sodas, that's fine. But you'll only get the glass. You're not going to get the whole can. The place where I get a little iffy on is with the alcoholic beverages. With the alcoholic beverages, you can purchase the Cheers package, and that is going to be $49.95 per day per person if you book online. If you purchase it online before you get on the ship, Or if you get on the ship, it's going to be $54.95 per day per person. And with that, you have absolutely no choice. If you're in a cabin with, let's say, 3 other people, and all 3 other people are above the age of 21 or older, they all have to purchase it. One person cannot purchase the package. So that's kind of a bummer, especially if, some people don't drink, some people do drink. It doesn't matter. Everyone has to purchase the package, and it gets pretty pricey. So I usually, unless you drink a really a lot of drinks, I don't recommend doing that. Also, if you're gonna wait until you get on the ship, I recommend waiting until you get out to sea, because then you don't pay tax. So when you get on the ship, they'll charge you tax. Let's say you sail out of Miami, they're going to charge you the Miami sales tax on top of the package plus gratuity. So once you get out into international waters, when the casino opens, you're safe. That's when you know you're in international waters, and that's when I would buy the package. Another tip for you. Then we have cabins. So my number 9 tip for cabins is bring a little extension cord. And, well, not an extension cord, a surge protector. And you'll plug it into the wall, and you have a whole bunch of outlets, because especially on the older ships, you'll only have one outlet, and you'll have one razor outlet in the bathroom, which is really not a lot. So I do absolutely recommend bringing a little power strip, so you can plug up all your stuff, because I know everyone has a lot of electronics nowadays. So it's really important to make sure you have enough plugs. My next tip is my final tip, and it's about gratuities. Gratuities are going to be $12.95 per person per day. And those include all your gratuities for everyone on the ship that serves you, your housekeeping, the food staff, all that type of stuff, bartenders. So all that stuff, everyone will get tipped out through that. And if you're in a suite, it's going to be $13.95 per person per day. A lot of people will say, hey, it's optional, whatever, I'm just going to go to guest services and pull out my tips. Personally, we never do that, even if we had an awful experience on the cruise. Because it's not fair to punish everyone because one person really messed up. So, and plus, these people work really hard, so we wouldn't just go out and pull out all their tips. That being said, it's completely up to you, but like I said, we do not pull tips. Even on the worst cruise we had, with the service we had, was just wasn't up to par, but we still never pulled the tips, with that being said. But don't let that discourage you. Almost all my cruises are amazing with Carnival. Like I said, I've been on 16 Carnival cruises and another one coming up in January. So I'm definitely a huge Carnival fan. But I will leave you off with one more tip. If you are sailing out of Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, download the mobile passport app, which is the customs app. So when you get back, you can just put in all your information, scan it with the customs officer, and you're done. No little customs form, none of that stuff. Hopefully they'll expand it to other ports, but for right now, it's only for the Fort Lauderdale Port Everglades cruise terminal. With that being said, if I missed anything, drop it down in the comments. Leave me a comment, suggestion, like. Any other questions you have, I'll freely answer them for you guys. But that's it for now. See you later.